Welcome back to another episode of Canned Worms. I'm your host, Scott. This is...
Nick.
Today we are reviewing Meek Mill's album Championships that he just released since getting out of prison, and our favorite rapper of all time, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Love him.
He just came out with a new album that got leaked from while he was in prison for racketeering charges. Check out our last podcast. That album is called Dummy Boy. So we're going to be starting off with Meek Mill's Championships first. We've had a good listen to it, taken a few notes. We would highly recommend, in order for this review to make sense for you and, just for you to enjoy it the best way possible, open up the Genius website, type in Meek Mill's Championships, and follow each song as we go through the album track by track. Also, give it a listen if you can as well. I think that will provide a bit of context. But other than that, definitely have the lyrics up while we go through it. Shall we get into it?
Yeah, so...
Alright, so the first track of this Meek Mill masterpiece, I want to say, is it's just Intro. It's called Intro. How did you find this track?
It's a very grandiose, big opening, with sampling from Phil Collins's I Can Feel in the Air Tonight, which is using that as like a sample on a Meek Mill track is just amazing, but he pulls it off so well. Meek just goes really hard on this beat, and he's following his tradition in making the first song on all of his albums just as hard as he possibly can, and he's certainly raised the bar here.
Definitely. It's a really good, I guess, it's just like a bang way to start, considering he's just got out of prison, and I think he's had a lot of time to really like focus on his album and come out with some really nice, strong tracks. Something that I found just throughout this whole album, as you guys would see, is that I really want to remark on the way that he raps, his voice, his flow. He's not at all a mumble rapper at all.
Yeah,
and it's
not.
Really, really nice and refreshing to see, like, especially when we move on to Tekashi 6ix9ine later. But he's got a really clear voice. I can really understand pretty much everything he's saying. His flows are like actually well thought out. He's quite talented. He really is.
You will very rarely find struggle bars from Meek on this album.
This intro song, it's just, I'm not sure if it's a brag, but it's also talking about struggles he's experienced while living on the streets, and then also struggles he's had to experience while being in prison, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, all of his songs, like, if you read his lyrics, like, his verses are so long. He's got so much to talk about, which is really, really nice. Because I think when Gucci Mane came out of prison and he came out with his album, like, I don't know, there was something about his album that sounded very mumble rapper in a way. Like, it didn't seem as much like a speech. Like,
as sharp
here,
as
Meek
sharp
Mill
as he
has
used
something
to be.
to say. He's got something to say, which is really nice. But yeah, no, in this song though, what's he comparing himself to? I think he's not comparing himself to anything particular, but yeah, no, it's just it's braggadocious, but rightfully so braggadocious, simply because he's been out of prison and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's a really strong track. Like, it actually sounds good. I was very, very happy. It really put me in the mood for what the album is yet to come.
Yeah. For me, it didn't really feel like braggadocious at all, but it was still like a refreshing take on like the experiences that Meek Mill's had both in prison and living on the street, and that's why I think this song is so good. It's not some brag rap, but it's like really like, it's really emotional and motivational in my mind. So yeah,
really strong entrance to the album. So we'll move on to the next one, Trauma. This one's really, really awesome because the whole thing is basically a massive social commentary.
Yeah.
And it's really eloquently put. He's got so many lines in here talking about what it's actually like for, black people to live in the ghetto in the US. It's and when I say eloquently put, because like I find that the type of words that he's using are, he's quite ambitious with this. He's not. It doesn't sound simply written. I feel like this is one that he took a really long time working on.
Yeah.
For this one.
I definitely agree on that.
Verse 1, he's talking about like a broken home. Saying, oh, not even a broken home, but he says, my mama used to pray that she'd see me in Yale, but it's messed up, she got to see me in jail. That's just how it is, I guess. That's what he's saying. And then he said, on the visit with Lil Papi, it hurt even though I seemed to be well. And even worse, my Judge Black don't want to see me do well. It's either that or black people for sale. So he's saying, like, even...
It's very hard hitting on this.
Even, like, I think he's referring... So this is the judge that incarcerated him most recently. And I think that the judge was black, and even she didn't... It seemed like even black people are against black people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very disheartening for, you know, like, the black community. You know, you'd think that people part of your community would be on your side. But that's just not how it is. You know, not everyone in your community is going to be on your side. I mean, people can have differing opinions, but that's just... I know, that's just how it is. And I'm going to be saying that a lot because there's no way to explain why black people today are still getting all of these troubles and things like that. Terrific commentary, though. I think if we move into... Oh, the chorus. I'll read out the chorus. I just won. I was on the corner with the reefer, and they got us warring for our freedom. So, one spite that I've always had problems with, I guess, with rap songs is like they're always talking about, you know, why are you attacking us? Like, why are you you know, putting us in jail? Why are you not even in jail? But like, how is this illegal? I'm smoking marijuana. Well, I mean, in some states it is illegal, but what he's trying to get at is, literally all that he's doing is smoking weed, and smoking weed isn't even that bad in terms of like offenses, and they got us warring for our freedom. So it's almost as if, I think what he's trying to say is, because they're black and then they're smoking marijuana, they're being targeted more so because of the color of their skin, and so police are just having an excuse to take them down because they're being caught with marijuana.
Yeah.
Following on, see my brother blood on the pavement, how you wake up in the morning feeling evil. Like, he's so disgruntled and frustrated with how people can wake up in the morning and just choose to, like, ruin your life by, you know, putting you in prison unfairly. And in this case, it genuinely is unfairly because Meek Mill has been the subject of incarceration for multiple like prison terms that were not extended, but the length of them were unjust.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it is unfair. And then he goes on to finish off the chorus by saying, when them drugs got a hold of your mama and the judge got a hold of your father, go to school, bullet holes in the locker. Like that's a harsh reality.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you know, kids are bringing guns to school, you know, mum's addicted to crack, and your dad's locked up.
Yeah.
So that's really horrible. Moving into the second verse, I think here he's talking about, at first, a boy got shot 20 times when they could have just told him to freeze. So this is the commentary on, you know, black people, young black men are just being shot by the police with no warning, like unfairly. Unarmed black men are getting killed by police in the US unfairly.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. And that's what he's talking about here. They told Cape, so Colin Kaepernick, the NFL player who kneeled during the national anthem. They told Kaepernick to stand up if you want to play for a team, and all his teammates ain't saying a thing. So why would you stand up to play for a team when the whole team mentality wants to kneel as well? The whole team mentality was, they didn't want to abide by this tradition of standing up for the national anthem. It was in order to protest, I think gun violence against black youth. And so it's funny that they say, well, if you want to be part of the team, you have to follow the rules, but the rules are written such that no one else wants to follow them. So that's another thing that he's referring to too. And last but not least, he's talking about, in the third verse, he's talking about references of slavery and then black people being put in jail and how he was in jail and things like that. It's really excellently written, definitely something to listen to and take serious note of, I think. If you have anything else you want to bring on that.
I think you just hit everything on the head.
Definitely. It's such a... I know, this is a really, really good song.
Yeah.
In terms of its lyrics, which is nice. I will move on to the third track, Uptown Vibes. You go for this one.
This song is a bit of a Latin trap infused song for Meek Mill. He has the featured artist who is actual a Latin trap artist. His name is Anuel AA. Don't know how to pronounce that correctly. And I guess it's kind of cool from the outset. It doesn't feel too mainstreamy. Of course, like it has the instrumental of the Latin trap vibe, but then the beat also goes really hard, and Meek is also rapping like really hard as well. He's not really going for like a normal like melodic rap here. He's actually just
he does go hard.
Yeah, he's hitting his verses pretty hard, but I'm not really sure if it goes to the detriment on this song, because sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe he should slow it down a little bit, but I could see why people would like this song to an extent.
Yeah, his so as you said that there were like Latin inspirations.
Yeah, for this
running through this song. His chorus, like the way he does the chorus, it should feel kind of R&B-ish Latin.
Yeah.
Yet he still goes really hard. Like, how does it go again? He said, "Heard they're trying to steal the wave, cut it out. Spicy mama's on the way, bust it down. He still goes hard and fast on something that could be slowed down a little bit, but it works really, really well.
It still works well for him, yeah.
Definitely works well, and I think that's a testament to the fact that he hasn't changed too much. Like, he's not changing simply because the beat is different. He's putting his own style on a beat that's getting a lot more mainstream, because the craze nowadays is a lot more like Latin beats. You got Bad Bunny, who's getting popular, J Balvin, who's getting more popular, and then there's this guy Anuel AA as well, who's gotten featured on here, and then I think he gets featured twice on the Tekashi 6ix9ine album as well. Yeah, he does. So, I don't know, I think it's, as a song to listen to, it's good. In terms of like the meaning behind the song, I wouldn't really go into that much. It's more of a braggadocious song in the way, like, you know, don't test me kind of way. I think that's kind of what I got from it. Yeah, I did like it though. Yeah. As something to listen to. The trumpets in it are awesome.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Instrumentals like really good on this song as well.
It's really good. Now, track number 4, I think. Yeah, On Me, featuring Cardi B.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember how it sounds. It's kind of trappy, this one, for me.
Yeah,
it's really trappy.
It's a little bit generic. Trappy to the point of generic. It's a normal brag rap that you'd kind of expect from Meek and Cardi B.
Rise to fame, rags to riches.
Yeah, kind of. Exactly. Yeah, exactly like that. But they both do go hard on their verses, which is cool, but the beat just kind of feels a bit stale and done it already the past 4 years. Actually,
so we did say that Meek Mill is not a mumble rapper by any means.
Not by any means.
The flow that he does, the staccato type flow.
Yeah, I would say that.
3 bad on me, top floor at a penthouse, yeah, young rich, I'm on my roll, them hoes, my flip flop, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he does that, the whole, it's staggered. It's very, very staggered. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's him just
it's a little bit dumbed down.
It is dumbed down, definitely. I don't know. I think, and then the whole thing where they go booty, 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 booty. I thought,
That little sampling in the chorus,
it
yeah, that's cool.
sounds super great for me. I don't know. I didn't find it amazing. Cardi B's verse though, I did like her in this one. I think
Yep.
she goes pretty hard. Yeah, no, I think Cardi B's alright in this, but other than that, it's like, I don't know. I
For
wasn't.
us, it feels a bit generic, but we can see why people would like it.
Yeah, I guess so. I think if you're gonna have a generic song, it's appropriate to have Cardi B on it.
Yeah.
To spice it up. Now we move on to one of the big songs of this album.
Yeah.
Is "What's Free," featuring Jay-Z and Rick Ross. Now we did refer to this song, this track, in the last podcast, talking about how people thought that Jay-Z called out Kanye on this song. And if we go to the actual lyrics, where's Jay-Z's part? He says, "No red hat, don't Michael and Prince me, and yay, they separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA. I ain't one of those house fellas you bought, my house like a resort, my house bigger than yours, my spow." This one here, he's not dissing Ye.
Yeah.
He's just trying to, like, say how Michael Jackson and Prince, two of the greats, don't pit them against each other, same way you shouldn't pit Jay and Ye together. The reference where he said no red hat, the red hat being the Make America Great Again hat that Kanye wears. So, while Jay-Z has expressed his severe disappointment in, like, Trump,
Yeah.
just because Ye is a supporter or has expressed, like, devout support for Trump doesn't mean Jay-Z hates Ye.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what he's
They're
trying
still
to say.
they're still very close friends in
They're
spite
still
of their
friends.
differences.
In spite of their differences. So yeah. So how did you find the song?
I thought it was okay overall.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel like, I'm not sure if this is how he normally sounds because I don't listen to him all the time, but Rick Ross kind of sounded a little bit bored.
Oh,
Don't you
right.
think? Yeah, I think just too many gaps in his verse, and it didn't really sound like he was putting his heart into it.
I think my favorite part was him calling out 6ix9ine though. At the end, he says, "Screaming gang gang, now you want a rat, racketeering charges caught him on a tap. Looking for a bond, lawyers want a tax, purple hair, got them on your back."
Yeah, that's
So
is
that's
kind
just
of funny.
calling shots at Tekashi 6ix9ine, which yeah, I mean, he deserves it. But
Yeah,
we'll
of
get into
course,
that
of
later,
course.
as we've already gone into it. So Meek's verse, hard. He's still got so
Course.
much to talk about. I think so. In each verse, they all talk about a different thing. They talk about it here. So verse 1, I'm just reading from Genius. Verse 1 finds Rick Ross rapping about his longevity and commenting on the 2018 arrest of rapper 6ix9ine. In verse 2, Meek Mill, Meek raps about his battle with the judicial system, and he shouts out his billionaire friends Michael Rubin and Robert Kraft. I think Robert Kraft is the owner of an NFL team. In fact, I think he was on one of Complex's shopping videos. And then verse 3, which I think is my favorite verse of the whole thing, because Jay-Z just pulls through real nice. He boasts about his business acquisitions as a sign of black excellence while addressing black enslavement and injustice. And I think this is a really good platform to do it on. If you're gonna, I guess, talk about these social justice issues from a black man's perspective, Meek Mill's album is the way to go, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely. So far, like, this album, it's got a 4 out of 5 for the tracks in terms of passes. Like, it's doing really pretty well. Definitely recommend listening to it. And the thing is, like J. Cole, he's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. So yeah, really, really refreshing to see.
Yeah.
We'll move into track 6 now.
Track 6.
Respect the Game. What's this one about, Nick? What can you remember? I think this was, if it's Respect the Game, it's talking about street code, I think.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, it's talking about street code. talking about
With life, just the way that, just the way that he grew up and like the environment that he was raised in and he was living through before he started making music.
That's right. Talking about how there are cops in the neighborhood that you got to watch out for. Talking about how if ever they do get caught, they don't want to be rats. They don't want to rat out their friends. Talking about girls. And then also talking about on the street, you could also be poor, but then what happens if you're rich on the street, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get rich and stay rich, in the chorus, he talks about 3 rules. Rule number 1, never count your homies' pockets thinking you deserve it. So, always
Stick to your own game.
Stick to your own game. The grass is always greener. Always stick with the money that you have. So, I think he might be talking about how, how like rappers always have like a big clique. They've always got a posse that follow them around. He's probably been bitten before by his own posse, thinking like, your friends are only following you around because you got money, right?
Yeah.
And in these posses, a lot of the time, they're just using you. So, never count your homie's pocket thinking you deserve it. Rule number 2, never trust a that'll fuck you for some purses. So, gold diggers. Stay away from gold diggers. You're going to experience that. So, that's kind of the same thing as rule 1, I feel like.
A little bit.
And then rule number 3, save you some of that money. You better stop splurging. So, this is... I don't know.
Basic
this is
budgeting.
Just good. Yeah, basic budgeting. He's just a good rule for anyone.
Good life advice. I feel like this song is a little bit of a warning, or maybe to like all the kids that are hustling and trying to get up to his level, and like what the rules were for him and how other people should start. People who are doing that, what they should watch out for, and like how quickly, especially in the verses, how quickly like he loses, like how how friends turn away once you start hustling, how you can lose all of that with like
you can lose all your money
with
really
like
easily.
a prison charge or something like that.
Or there was one where he says fellas disappear as quick as Lil Zane.
Yeah,
Lil Zane was like someone who was famous for like a year ages ago, and then like he fell off the face of the earth, and we haven't heard anything from him for like 15 years.
Yeah,
so like your fame and your money can like fall straight away. Like
instantly.
Where has what's his face? What's that rapper that's like Remy Boys and 679 and
Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap. Where the hell has that guy been? Same thing. You just gotta save your money. And I think 21 Savage is a big promoter of saving your money and stuff like that. He talks about that. He's like done a bunch of that's why he says he never wears jewelry. He never wears flashy jewelry because he wants to teach people or teach kids or like people from where he's from, like, don't do that. Stop flashing your wealth so much, because like you need to save your money, make investments.
Yeah.
Who knew that these guys were so smart? They're so smart. They've been to prison because they were too smart. That's why.
Yeah.
Moving on to track 7, Splash Warning. This was probably the worst track on the album.
Yeah, I did not like this a whole lot.
Featuring Future, Young Thug, and this newcomer called Roddy Ricch.
Yeah.
Future, first of all, didn't sound like Future. Yes, it was very auto-tuned, but
yeah, it's just
weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I mean, he does sound weird usually, but
yeah,
he doesn't sound
normally.
his usual weird
but like
self.
he's kind of just going over the top in like his ad libs and stuff, just like making weird ass sounds over the track, just trying to do something that's he thinks sounds cool and different.
It didn't sound cool. It sounded like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, it kind of does.
The ad libs were pretty crap. So Future did it, Roddy Ricch did it, and then
I feel like Roddy Ricch is just trying to do like his best. Like Roddy Ricch, he sounds like Lil Wayne on this track. I found.
Okay.
Right. Like he sounded really generic, and just using the same ad libs as Future was doing, and just
Unfortunately, Meek falls into that trap to trying to be like them, and while he doesn't sound exactly the same, he does do the rhymes like scale was the same, the flow was the same. It was
Unfortunately, he couldn't save it.
Yeah, well, in fact, he just did the same as what the other guys were
He did
doing.
do the same as what the other guys did, but he did. I found he was trying to be like a little bit technical with it, and like at least using like multi-syllable rhymes and just changing things up a bit. And yeah, the song also features Young Thug on the bridge.
He's on it for 4 lines.
He's on it
Why
for
is he
4
there?
lines. Yeah, it kind of feels like it makes me curious to see what the song would be like if Thug had a longer airtime, like if he had an actual verse, or if he did the chorus or something like that.
Also, I think this is like the first of probably 10 other references to Richard Mill, the watch.
Oh yeah.
He says, in there, Richie Millie, it on TikTok. Hoo hoo. It's so bad. It's really bad, but I don't know. So, Richard Mill is a Swiss watch manufacturer, like Rolex, except like way higher than Rolex. It's a lot more expensive, and they're known for being like probably the lightest watch, like the lightest luxury watch available, like on the market. So Rafael Nadal actually wears one while playing tennis. Insane, absolutely insane. I think it looks really sick. It's a very skeleton like dial, and then Ed Sheeran wears it as well. So they're 2 big advocates for it, and it's only recently getting a lot of love and attention from the rap game as well. But like they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, Splash Warning.
It's the same.
Terrible song.
Yeah, not too good. Bit of a throwaway.
And then here we have track 8, I believe. Yeah, Championships. I think this one here is... It's got the beat is trying to sound nostalgic yet really cheerful and joyful.
Yeah.
And that's the point, because I think there's trumpets and things like that in it, like fanfare, to make it really upbeat and motivational, which makes sense because this is like the title track for the album.
Yeah.
He's talking about motivation to hustle, to do better in life, to make money, to become successful. It's a nice song. And then he's also talking about, when he was a kid, when they were poor and stuff like that, like they had to like work really hard. It's just, the theme is always the same.
Yeah, the theme always seems to be the same.
But
it does get a little bit dull, I find, as the album goes on.
I think it's better than a Braggadocious though.
It is much better than Braggadocious. It's not to the album's detriment. It's not to the album's detriment. And like the one thing I will say, just the sampling on like all of these solo tracks is just, it's just beautiful. Like
he's able to hold himself really well when there's no features.
Yeah, he's able to hold himself really well, and the production that comes in here and the sampling, like on the album as a whole, just really, really cool stuff to see. And it is really motivational when you're listening to it. It is very inspiring. Yeah,
definitely. It kind of casts a shadow on the other braggadocious, crappy type songs
100%.
on here. So yeah, that's why this is, I know, really definitely worth a listen. Moving on to track 9, Going Bad. This one is the one featuring Drake.
Yep.
This is to prove that Drizzy and Mellie have reconciled. They've got a good relationship now, like a good friendship. Back in September, I think Drake brought Meek out on stage.
Yeah.
But in fact, they were actually in contact like a year before that. So they were, I guess, repairing their friendship. Ready to go public with their friendship. Because their rivalry, like their rivalry was very public.
Yeah, of course.
Well. How did you find this Drake feature, though?
I think, talking about Drake specifically, I did like the chorus that he brought, but his verse fell short.
Yeah, the first verse.
First verse on it, just fell short. And it didn't actually save the song for me. Like, I know, like, everyone, like, you see Drake on a song and everyone kind of goes nuts. But fortunately, just having his name on the track didn't really save much for me. I feel like
Exactly. I thought it was going to be good simply because it had Drake.
Yeah.
With Meek Mill.
Yeah.
But
of course, Meek Mill does what he does best. He goes hard. He talks about, apparently his relationship with Drake and how they're closer together now. They're focused on, making good music and just, hustling and gaining their money. And, like, they're over all the petty rivalry that used to be better. And his verse is, obviously better than Drake's is. Does it save the song?
Right, okay. Yeah, I think it's not bad for me.
Okay.
I think it's just acceptable.
It's acceptable.
I don't think it's bad, though.
Yeah.
Nor good. Moving on to Almost Slipped, which is track 10. This is a long one, and there's no features. How did this one go again?
This one was... The production on this song is a lot smoother.
Yes, it was an R&B.
Yeah,
it was an
Meek
R&B
Meek is going for an R&B vibe here. So mostly when he does this, he keeps like the same flow, but he's a lot more melodic. He uses auto-tune to change.
Yes, it's a very auto-tuney one.
It is very auto-tuney, but I don't.
I did not like this song.
I didn't mind it actually. I kind of do feel like if you're going for an R&B vibe, you should probably consider slowing down with his flows and going for something that's a little bit smoother. Obviously, he's going to have to use auto-tune because, if he doesn't feel confident in the way he sings, it's there, and he doesn't like go crazy with it. He's not like a crooner or anything. Like, he's actually rapping on this song, but maybe slow the flow down a little bit to match like what the song is doing, and it would make the song better.
Well,
altogether, I don't mind it though.
Okay, yeah, I didn't like it very much, but the theme of it though, it's at least it's consistent. Like, he's actually talking about something. He's talking about basically, the chorus says it right here. Like, I almost fell in love with authority. So he's talking about how he's got to watch out for gold diggers, thoughts as well, like, ratchet ass hoes, thoughts, and these are girls that just want to use him for his money, that try to manipulate him. I like how he said, my dog said, you got too many bodies. So she has gone ahead and been with and messed up so many other guys before Meek Mill. So it's a cautionary tale.
Cautionary, yeah.
It's definitely a cautionary tale. And he's talking about how he's got to protect himself to make sure he doesn't get heartbroken, and also that, he doesn't become bankrupt, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of, like, the theme of it, I actually quite like the theme.
Yeah, same, likewise.
And, yeah, like, verse 1, 2, and 3, he actually builds off of each other. So he continues on with the thing, which is a bit of a J. Cole thing to do, like, continue going, except the storyline isn't as well done as the way J. Cole would do. But, still, I give him credit for, like, how he went about it, but the execution, for me, I didn't like.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now we're on to track number 11 with our favorite Kodak Black. Tic-tac-toe.
Kodak doesn't actually have a verse on this song. He only
handles
only handles the hook. But even with his presence on the hook, it still like Meek says in the intro, it's a bit of a Kodak moment listening to him.
Yeah. This song it's a bit mumble rapper-esque.
Yeah.
In the way that he does his rhyming and his flow and the syllables and things like that. Like, I did a sax fifth run. I did a bad bitch run. I just bought a new AP. About to get the bad bitch one.
Yeah.
It's not, it's always the five syllable, keep going.
Yeah.
The same. And then there was another really crappy line where he says, red fish, blue fish, old bitch, new bitch.
I love that line. That's a beautiful line. No, I love it. That's amazing.
No. I don't know. Like, yeah.
I don't mind it a whole lot. Meek still has a ton of energy on this song, and even though he's limiting his flow to a more generic trap song, he's still coming through with like pretty decent bars. And also Tay Keith producing does what he does best all the time. Again, I'm curious to see how the song would turn up if Kodak had an actual verse here.
Yeah.
Would it make things better? Would it ruin it?
Yeah, Kodak's not great.
Fortunately, not in our minds.
Yeah. So 24/7 is track number 12. This one samples Beyonce, and it's featuring this singer called Ella Mai. Now she really reminds me of Rihanna, or at least a cross between Beyonce and Rihanna.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way with her singing. It's talking about how relationships rely on time, spending time with each other. Like relationship, you shouldn't be rushed into it, but then you should also, over time, you should also be faithful and you should commit to each other over time.
It's kind of affectionate when you listen to what Meek is talking about.
It is, but the line that Ella Mai says, she says, "I'm talking about Monday, Tuesday." She literally just lists all the days of the week.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's trying to be a little bit like mainstreamy and poppy. Like this feels like it could be like some sort of female confidence anthem that could be played on radios and stuff.
Yes, actually. There was I don't think it's this one.
No way, I think I know what you're talking about. There's a
song
line
later on which is like very much a confidence album from a female perspective.
Ella says in the bridge, there's a part in it where she's screaming, "And all my ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out." So it definitely feels like that type of thing.
That's not what I'm referring to, but I do see your point.
Okay.
But yeah, no, other than that, it's just a kind of a slow song. Talking about relationship, commitment, things like that. Interesting tidbit, Meek Mill used to go out with Nicki Minaj.
Yep.
Moving on to track 13, Oodles or Noodles Babies. So, while it may sound like a strange track title, Oodles or Noodles, he's referring to, I think back in the day, there was a instant noodle packet called Oodles or Noodles.
Yeah.
So what he's just trying to say is, all of these people, like his mom, these other girls that he knew back when he was younger, had no money, and he himself had no money, his mum had no money, so he could only eat like instant noodles growing up.
That's all I could afford.
That's all that he could afford.
Yeah. Another classic sample on this song, another Meek monologue. I'd like to call him.
Love Changes. Where else have I heard that? I think Kanye may have sampled that one as well. I wouldn't be surprised. That's one of the samples on it. But yeah, he's talking about his mom smoked the crack while she was pregnant, so he can't even help that he crazy. So
I guess he's still talking about, the street life, and also referring to his come up and, some of the
it's talking about
pretty much the horrors.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Just the horrors of on the street. So it's not, in terms of the theme, is no different from something that he's rapped before. He's just saying it in another way. I don't know, like talking about incarceration as well. When I went to court, the judge said, "Meek, you're a menace to society." "Huh, you said you would give me a chance, Your Honor. Why would you lie to me? 16 more years of probation. You know you're going to get some more time with me." Damn, like that's...
Yeah.
It sounds like he's being targeted, just because the judge doesn't like him. And what's interesting is that for the most recent incarceration, that judge had to actually remove herself from the trial, I think, from the case.
Yeah. Because
I think she received too much criticism that she was unfairly...
being too lax on her own people. Yeah.
Yeah, specifically Meek Mill. Not just black people, but she was just being unnecessarily hard on Meek Mill, trying to scapegoat him. That's just another one of those, another sympathy song.
Yeah.
Essentially. Track 14, Pay You Back. Let's see here.
With
21
Savage.
So Meek is pretty good on this, actually. I think I like Meek on this a lot.
Yeah,
he's got good verses. 21 isn't as bad as I thought he would be. However,
he doesn't sound menacing.
He doesn't sound menacing. Very auto-tuned.
Yeah, of course.
He's not bad. He really isn't bad. He's not like how he was back on 21 Savage's Not All Heroes Wear Capes.
Metro Boomin's Not All Heroes Wear Capes.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said 21 Savages.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Metro Boomin's, yeah.
Yeah, 21 just... He has a bunch of, like, corny lines as well. Like, feel like John Wick with a stick. Desert Eagle bullets, same size as a pickle. Just, just not too scary when you hear that coming out of, Savage's mouth. Doesn't really feel like a savage to me, honestly, but...
What I found a little bit, I want to say, hypocritical or strange was the last line on his verse was, "Wish I rapped in the 90s because this 2K shit full of weirdos."
Okay,
so
yeah, that's
in the
interesting.
2000s, you do have a lot of weird rappers. You got all the Lils, you got Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's weird, but like, dude, this guy's super weird as well. Like, he's got a dagger tattooed on his forehead.
Yeah.
His rap style is mumble rapper, which is, in terms of like rapping, and you're comparing rapping from the 2000s and now with the 90s, that's weird.
Yeah, if you raps like 21 Savage in the 90s, you probably like...
Be considered weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he said he wished he could rap in the 90s. He would not be accepted in the 90s at all if he rapped like that.
Okay.
He's friends with people like Lil Yachty and Kodak Yellow. Is that his name? Kodak Black.
You're thinking Bodak Yellow.
I'm thinking of Bodak Yellow. Oh, man, by Cardi B.
Oh, man.
Kodak Black, like, yeah, well, he hung out with them, and they're, like, some of the weirdest people ever.
Yeah, of course.
Lil Yachty is probably the biggest wimp I've ever seen.
I was thinking that line was referring to, like, gangs. Because when I see 2K, I think, like, the 2K Bloods. And I think he was talking...
Oh, maybe.
He was talking about, I wish I rapped, or maybe I wish I lived in the 90s and could, like, be in the gangs during that time, because otherwise, these other, like, newer gangs that are showing up that, like, I don't know, 6ix9ine and Lil Pump are running for, like, they're all weirdos now. And, like, you think about gangs back in the 90s that were, more harder and listen to, actual hip-hop. I don't know. It probably isn't right because he says rapped in the 90s, not lived. But maybe could be construed in that way.
Yo, but like he raps, it's like he lives. He lives and he raps. Rapping is a lifestyle.
Okay, forgive me for ever saying otherwise.
15th track is 100 Summers. So that's only 94 more summers than 6 summers. Is that correct? I did the math. Yeah.
You did the math.
That's 94 summers more than Anderson .Paak. And how did you find this song? Just trying to remember it. I think. It was a groovy beat, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, but I kind of feel like Meek Mill is trying to do like a thugger style rap here.
A what?
He's trying to sound. I feel like Meek Mill, especially on like the pre-chorus and the chorus. He sounds a lot like he's doing a Young Thug impersonation there. Right.
Like, he did sound really strange for the pre-chorus. When he referenced Coolio's As I Walk Through the Valley of the Shadow of Death. He sounded so strange on that.
Yeah.
I wish he kept his normal voice for that, because his normal voice is actually quite pleasing to listen to.
That's why I feel like it's like a Thugger thing, because like he's using his auto-tune, he's going like very like the end of his lines, he's like going all high-pitched. And yeah.
It's one of his shorter ones as well.
It is quite short as well, yeah. Basically just not a whole lot to this album. He's just like talking about his desire to live long enough to see 100 summers. Like, not dying early from like imprisonment or police brutality or gun violence or anything like that.
That's true.
So yeah, Meek calls it one of his favorites from this album, but I'm not too huge on it. I feel like it gets a little bit stale, And like I find him to be like at this point in the album where he's talking so often about like when he's talking about how he was living and growing up, it does sound a little bit, it doesn't feel like he's adding much in this song in my mind.
Moving on to the 16th one with the shits. This is featuring Mellie. Smelly Mellie. I think this is the one that I was talking about earlier, being like the female, like the proud female one, like the motivation.
Okay, this one,
female.
yeah.
Because she wild.
Yeah, this is like this is a pretty
insane.
This is a pretty wild kind of sex song. It's not really it's not like an affectionate one like the one we were talking about before. This is like just talking about find him, fuck him, and flee.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, and it's also she says it from her point of view as well.
Yeah, and I actually really do like that. You know,
have
not heard of this rapper before. She comes in very fire verse.
Yeah, definitely. She reminds me of like her confidence with talking about sex in like the same way like men have been doing for ages. It really reminds me of Cardi B's verse off of No Limit.
No Limit, yeah.
No Limit. G-Eazy's No Limit with A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that. It's that confidence and stuff. So yeah, all right. A line that kind of like really put me off though was when Meek Mill kept referring to syphilis. That.
Yeah,
I did
and
not
the end
like
of the
that.
chorus.
That was like it was a good. It was a hot song. Then talked about syphilis.
I think he's just trying to reiterate to people that you can't make love without a glove. You know,
that's correct.
Don't be silly. Cover your willy, otherwise syphilis is on the hands.
Now another braggadocious one, Stuck in My Ways.
True.
Which is track 17. He's just talking about flexing.
Yeah, it's nothing too new, but you know, it's amazing.
But it's long.
It is quite long.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't really want to get much into it. Did it sound good? It had a bit of a haunting piano beat to it.
Yeah, I think it feels like average Meek on this. Just, you know, still comes through with the same bars, same flow, same energy. And if you like that from Meek, you're going to like this. But, you know, sometime at this point in the album, when you're right at the end, yeah, it's like I'm saying, it begins to sound like a broken record.
Next, we have kind of another R&B song, right? Dangerous, which is the 18th track, featuring Jeremiah and P&B Rock. Now, we haven't heard Jeremiah in so long. Last time I heard Jeremiah, and I think this is the same Jeremiah, it was on 50 Cent with 50 Cent. I can't, for the life of me, remember what that collab was, but it was like, we would have been really young, and that was a great song. Where is it? Nah, it's not on there. But hey, he was on DJ Khaled, Do You Mind?
Yeah.
Hold You Down. He was on Summer Friends as well with Chance the Rapper.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's been back, he's been around. And then P&B Rock is on the come up. He was in XXL 2017, I want to say. 17, that's it. Hitmaker is on the beat for this one. What is this song about? This is an oldish song that they weren't able to put out because he was in prison.
Okay.
And they only just put it on the album. Just R&B thing. Pretty much.
It just kind of feels like
girls and stuff, but it's not vulgar or anything.
Yeah, it's not a vulgar song. It's more of it's another kind of semi-affectionate song. Meek Mill still hits like pretty decently hard verses here. Jeremiah is sweet as well, but I kind of feel like P&B Rock is just trying to be Ty Dolla $ign on this track.
Okay. Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah. It did like that weird singing type thing.
Yeah. It really did feel like he was just trying to be Ty on this one, and Ty's amazing, but it doesn't feel new and it doesn't feel unique from him. So I think, got to give a thumbs down for his verses and stuff, because just
Last track
Yeah.
on this album is Cold Hearted 2. This one was a long one. He has a lot to say. It's 5 minutes, yeah.
It's a 5-minute song, but it's only one decently long verse, a chorus, and mostly a spoken outro that goes for about 2 minutes.
What's this one about, Nick?
This one is, if I look at my notes, it's mostly his regret on, it's another song about his come up, but mostly on the topic of people, asking, doing favors for him, helping him out, helping him to reach the point where he's at, and then them just turning around and saying, hey, I helped you get this, now can you do me favors like that? And just his frustration with all of that. That's the gist that I seem to get from it. How all these cold-hearted fake friends that he used to deal with.
Definitely. I think it's also cold-hearted because his friends are the ones who, if you're, while your friends are still around you, surely they're not your friends. They're asking you of all this stuff because of newfound fame. So it's kind of like backstabbing you.
Yeah.
Even though it's right in front of you, and it's that's quite cold-hearted. And then you've got to be cold-hearted yourself to cut them off.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So other than that, what do you give the rating out of 10 for Meek Mill's album? Don't say it yet, we'll say it at the same time. I think I've got it. I've got it. I think I know what I want. Anytime now, Nick.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Alright, 3, 2, 1,
8.
7. Oh, 8. Because the thing is, if I put it at 8, that's me putting it up there with other albums that I really, really like that are 8s as well.
Okay.
And
I feel like I just given it 8 as a completely objective thing, not thinking about how I feel.
Then Tekashi 69 is a 10 out of 10.
Okay then. Well,
moving on then to the 10 out of 10 album.